Alright then, time to talk about one of these more controversial issues once again. So, the title of this video may have came off as being, really flashy and designed to get views, and well, it may look a little bit snarky, but honestly, it is the exact truth. This video does have the real reason, as provided by Blizzard, as to why the faction hubs have been moved to Ashran. If you're not aware, well, we're not getting Bladespire and Karabor anytime soon. And also, if you just want to have a look at the faction hubs that are located on Ashran, today's other video will cover that for you. The reason I split them up is because that's a tour video, this is a discussion, and they would just both kind of mess each other up. So then, what is the actual reason? I'm not going to beat around the bush and hold off the real reason to the end in some sort of shameless attempt to get people to watch my video for longer. No, the actual reason is simply Blizzard just couldn't get it done in time. How do I know that? Well, Bashiok flat out said so. I'm just going to read out a chain of tweets that he said here. So, he said, first of all, totally understand people are disappointed and why, but to make the cities to make the cities people expect would be months of art time. We're okay being the bad guys if it means people can play the expansion in a reasonable amount of time, and we'll be making sure that they're worthy faction hubs, and will complement your home base well. Ugh, I don't know. He also said that he doesn't think that throwing in some NPCs around the area would have been a good solution. I do agree with him on that. And, yeah, that's basically what he said. Now, first of all, I actually do appreciate being treated with a little bit of intelligence and actually being told the reason. So, thank you, Bashiok. Actually, when Lore's post came out, it was just a bit of an insult to our intelligence because we could all see past that. Lore was trying to bring out, and I don't actually think these are his own personal points or anything, but he was just trying to bring out these points of, oh, it makes sense because of lore reasons, which actually makes no sense. In fact, he even said that the reason why we're not going to have Bladespire and Karabor is because it would make no sense for a faction to go on to Draenor and then to start building up a base. Of course, because we also, built our garrison and the whole Ashran majig. So that was a little bit weird, but hey, at least we've got the actual answer. They've been honest. And here's the thing, actually, just from a PR perspective, if Blizzard had have just said this from the very start, okay, there would have been a lot of anger, but, as there already was, but there wouldn't be a 40-thread long discussion about it on the forums, because people would have thought, well, crap, I guess that's not going to happen, maybe they can do it later. That's what people would have thought. So, yeah, it's nice just actually being told the truth for once on the matter. Now, let's just talk about the actual internal issues that I suspect have been going on at Blizzard. So, Warlords of Draenor so far seems like it's had one of the longest sort of development times of a World of Warcraft expansion. Obviously, like any expansion, it would have been in pre-production, probably before Mists of Pandaria launched, and then with full production probably starting around patch 6.0, maybe even before Pandaria launched. So this is definitely something they've been working on for a long time. And by the way, it's not like they just start working on these expansions at BlizzCon. No, they literally do start working on them very early. In fact, I'd say patch 5.2 is probably nearly done by the time that Pandaria came out. That's just how sort of development cycles work. But anyway, I think Blizzard have been having some issues. And this is more from a project management side of things. First of all, we have had this whole Karabor thing where they just did not allocate their time in such a way that allowed Karabor and Bladespire to happen. Now, of course, they have had a very art-intensive expansion. First of all, the new zones in Draenor are absolutely the largest and best looking that have ever been made, so that's definitely taken a lot of work from the art team. Then they have had to remake every single character model, and on top of that, they've had to make, I don't know, if we've got, say, 13, no, maybe 20, let's just say we've got 20 different kinds of garrison buildings, so they had to make 20 buildings, then they had to make 3 levels of each building, and 1 version of everything for each faction. So they have had a lot of artwork, and what I've got to think is, at BlizzCon, they thought they were going to be able to get this done. They thought they would get the new character models, they thought they would get Bladespire Karabor, and they also thought they would get the garrison stuff. So there's got to be some sort of mismanagement there. Bashiok said here that it was a few months that they think it would have taken extra. Well, if you think of it, back in November, if this was really going to be an extra few months of work, then they probably should have been able to project manage ahead of that and try to work out some sort of solution. It just seems a little bit strange the way that's all happened, and honestly, I'm just going to chalk it up to internal project management problems, the art team missing deadlines, and various things like that. It is unfortunate, yes, but I'm not I don't know, I just don't think there's much that we could particularly do about it now. However, all is not lost. I think the Bladespire and Karabor still should be in the expansion. In a future patch, they could do it, I don't know, via some sort of lore reason. And here's why. So, the Vale of Eternal Blossoms was at least a place to hang out that felt unique, special, and interesting. The same goes for Shattrath, Dalaran, and even Stormwind and Orgrimmar, I suppose, during Cataclysm. Whereas these faction hubs, as you can probably see from my tour video, which you should, by the way, totally watch, it was, like, posted an hour or two ago. Yeah, as you can see from, you know, all that, they were unique and interesting places, whereas these faction hubs are so bad. These are by far the worst thing we have had in terms of a faction hub. Now, I am basing slightly off what's in the beta currently, but more, I'm more thinking about the actual art style that they're going for, because they have confirmed that it will be Alliance and Horde 6.1 style. Now, that's just going to be wild boring, because, look, you've got your Alliance and Horde Ashran base, and you've got your Garrison, which looks the exact same. In fact, they're currently using the same buildings. I don't know if that'll be final, but no one's actually going to go to Ashran and hang out there. People are going to hang out at their Garrison and go to Ashran to PvP. That's what's going to happen. So, I think that honestly what happened is they've realized that Bladespire and Karabor couldn't happen, so they thought, crap, what do we do? And someone was like, well, if we put a little base in Ashran, it'll probably get more people into Ashran, and it will be pretty easy for the art team to make, because they can just copy-paste in some assets. And then someone said, oh, gee, Bill, you've came up with a great idea. Chris Robinson, art team, go! And then away they went to do that. Actually, it probably wouldn't have been him and his team, it probably would have been the environment artists. But anyway, I digress. That's likely what sort of happened. I know it's a bit of a hypothetical, but it does perfectly line up with exactly what's went on. So, in a future patch, I think that Bladespire and Karabor should be there, though, as I was saying earlier, because we do need that special and unique place, and it could come in a later patch. And, of course, they would have to tie in some gameplay or some sort of lore thing with it. But, again, we're going to be in Draenor for a significant period of time. I don't think the next expansion is going to have a year-long turnaround time like Blizzard have been saying for so long. No, I think the next World of Warcraft expansion will probably come out September 2016. Maybe a little bit early, but I think it'll still be around the 18-month to 2-year cycle. And they cannot expect us to sit in these Ashran bases and our garrisons for all that time. I can tell you guys for a fact that based on my beta experience hanging out in a level 2 garrison, and I suppose in the sort of beta version of the Ashran hubs, they're not going to hold your interest visually for that long. And they absolutely need to find some sort of way to get Bladespire and Karabor in there, because they are proper cities. Now let's just talk about the point of it being months of artwork to get Bladespire and Karabor right. Well, first of all, I cannot speak with any authority as to how fast things are for the Blizzard's art team. I don't think any of us can do that, and we can speculate a little bit, but is it really, is our speculation really worth much? Probably not. Now, personally, I do find it rather hard to see how it would be literally months. Maybe by months, he means 2 months, because that at least is a sort of plural, number of months. It's more than one. The way he says it, I don't know. Usually if someone says months, I think of about 4. Maybe 3 or 4. I could see it taking 2 months, I couldn't see it taking 3 or 4, honestly. That's just speculation, though. I mean, if you look at all the Draenei architecture, and even at, say, Auchindoun, and just all the Draenei stuff, they basically have all the texturing done, right? So all they particularly need to do is make some new props. Now, if you don't know what props are, they're those little things which aren't necessarily the terrain, they're just like little things that are sort of pasted on top, they just sort of stick them on. They would just have to make some props and things like that. Now, I suppose one issue would be the playability of Bladespire and Karabor. The reason why I say the playability would be a problem is because they're both very big. They're big and spread out, so Blizzard would have to definitely do some sort of intelligent wrangling around to make all that stuff work. However, once again, it's worth the effort because we need a base that's not shitty. If people's visual experience of Draenor is more focused on the Alliance and Horde theme rather than the Draenor theme, which is what it currently could be, then they're going to get extremely bored of the expansion. Or at least visually extremely bored of the expansion, which is a pity because so many of the zones are beautiful, but at the end of the day, once it's, say, patch 6.2 and the Spires of Iraq and all that stuff's been cleared by you, why are you going to go back there again? Well, you're going to be funneled into Ashran and then probably your new PvE island that they add in a patch. So it's a bit worrying. But really, that's about all of my thoughts on this issue. I know this isn't a particularly structured video, I just wanted to give you a raw sort of blast of thoughts. Now that Blizzard have actually given us the real reason why they cancelled the whole Bladespire and Karabor idea. honestly, it's a bit of a shitty situation. And I think it's a shitty situation for Blizzard as well. They obviously are not, happy about this. That's for sure. And it's definitely going to hurt Warlords of Draenor. It absolutely is. That's a big ticket piece of content that a lot of people were looking forward to, and that would have been very beneficial to the game, that simply isn't there. I mean, imagine if in, say... here's a great one, actually. So imagine if we were playing... if it was Cataclysm, okay? Now, and just imagine that it was on a different continent, so we didn't have Stormwind or whatever being so close. But imagine if Tol Barad was basically where your faction hub was, and that instead of the little camp, we had a slightly bigger camp, but that was it. Imagine if that was our hub. Imagine if the little camps on Wintergrass were our faction hubs, okay, but a little bit bigger. Well, that's what we're having now. Okay, so Blizzard are not happy about that internally. They must be a bunch of sad pandas. That's just what they have to be, because there is no sane game company that thinks this is the right decision. And Lore's post in the forums was basically just a bit of crappy damage control. None of his points were valid, basically. And, of course, one thing it is worth saying, if you are a PvPer, this is not anything against you. This is not... here's another thing, actually. To all the PvP or PvE people who say that, oh, this is just Blizzard trying to force PvP on us, well, okay, maybe there was a little bit of an incentive there in terms of why they did the Ashran thing, but the main reason why you don't have your lovely hubs is because they couldn't make them. It's not because of PvP, and it's most certainly not because of the people who enjoy PvP. So stop being a bunch of just insufferable wankers to the people who enjoy their PvP. They can do that, and it's cool. So don't get angry, It's the sort of thing where Blizzard are going to be held accountable to this, by the players, and when Warlords launches, I think they're going to get a lot of spirited feedback on the issue. But anyway, this video is rambling on for long enough. Basically, it's a pretty crap issue. Maybe we'll get it in a patch. Hopefully we will. And that's about it. So, thank you very much for watching the video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and I'll see you next time.